Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, as always, Jarrod Music. All right, today on 3-Minute Success, we're talking about business continuity planning. Now, don't stop it. We're not just talking about estate planning. What we're talking about is risk management in your business and avoiding singular failure points. That's the whole focus of one of our 4 pillars of entrepreneur wealth management, is making sure that we're managing risk and avoiding those singular failure points. And the business continuity plan is a huge component of that. So when we talk about business continuity, what are we actually trying to get to? What we're trying to plan for is how can we make sure that the business will succeed, that the equity value is protected, and that business equity value transferability is protected if anything unforeseen happens. And then, are we doing that in such a way that it supports and does not inhibit your overall business growth strategy? So when we talk about unexpected, we're primarily talking about 4 things for the closely held business owner. And they're the 4 Ds that you may have heard of before: death, disability, divorce, or dissolution. I'll touch on each of those briefly. So death. Let's say you're a 50-50 partner in a $10 million valuation business and you pass away. What needs to happen there, right? Your partner needs to be able to pay you for the value of that $5 million worth of equity. Your family needs the liquidity from it, and the business needs the resources to be able to continue operation and protect that equity value even once you've passed away. So you're primarily utilizing life insurance and some other business planning that goes along with this to make sure that there's liquidity going to the right places and that everyone is well taken care of. As businesses grow and expand in value significantly and get to much, much higher valuation levels, we start to outstrip the ability of life insurance to really be economical to handle all of that. So you're going to want to look at contracts and agreements, potentially outside sales as triggering events, whatever that is, to be able to make sure that your equity is actually paid for and that the business is able to do that. When we get into the second one, it's disability. So what if you're permanently disabled? What if you're long-term but temporarily disabled? All of those are different scenarios that need to be planned for, and that language needs to be included inside your operating agreement. So how is a disability determined? What are the rules around that? What happens? All of those can involve a combination of insurance and legal agreements. When we're talking about divorce, what happens if the equity value in your business gets included in the marital property, which it probably will? Right? How is the value, again, of that $5 million of business value that you might have? If your spouse is entitled to half of that, how do you pay them out? What if you don't have the cash to do that? What if they're unwilling or unable to accept a seller carried note? How do you actually raise capital to be able to satisfy the needs of a divorce settlement? And the fourth one, dissolution. You want to make sure that your partnership agreements, operating agreements, all those documents are written in such a way that the business is able to be valued and that the transfer methodology is easily understood. You want to make sure that that is done well before any of the business partners want to exit and go do something else, when emotions are likely to be running high and interests are no longer as aligned. So write those into your documents up front so that it's very clear what happens, who's responsible for various pieces, and how all of that stuff is totaled up. Now, as you're planning for all of these events that could be disruptors, they could be singular failure points to the success of your business, we want to make sure that it still operates in the context of your overall business strategy. So whatever that business strategy is, any of the costs or legal agreements or contracts that you put into place during this business continuity process, they need to make sure that ideally they support that overall business strategy, but at least that they don't inhibit it, so that you're still able to execute on what you're trying to execute on if one of those 4 Ds never shows up for you. So I hope this was helpful. We have a companion blog that's available over at entrepreneurline.com. You can head over there and get all the goodies to dive in a little bit deeper, or reach out to our team directly. We're happy to help. Thanks so much for giving me some of your time. I'll be back again